Oh man, the very first video that I posted was actually a unboxing. I did an unboxing for a mystery subscription box company, and I got my box in and I opened it, and I was basically just trying to show people what I got inside my box. That was the very first video I posted. And so that's how this journey started. I did that for a while, just doing mystery box subscription unboxings. And then my channel has evolved from there, doing movie reviews and now tech reviews and budget podcasting type tech and stuff like that. So my channel has just completely evolved over the years.
Yeah, talk about your channels today and each one of them and a little bit about them and the motivations behind them. And
Yeah, so my personal channel, Back to the Retro Review, this one right here, is that's where me and my buddies do movie reviews on it. That's where we started doing that. And lately I've been getting into budget podcasting, trying to help people do budget podcasting if they're just starting out, trying to offer them the correct equipment to use, or advice on the correct equipment to use. Something that's not going to break the bank, but not is something that's going to sound and look horrible. That's where I'm in that for. But back to the retro review. Now my Mod Squad channel, that started again with the mystery box subscription services. I was part of a community in on Facebook, and I got offered to become a moderator in that community. And me and a couple of other moderators actually got together and started a YouTube channel called the Mod Squad because we were moderators. And it's more of an entertainment type show where we have like a movie show where we do movie news. We have a horror show where we talk about horror news, whether it be movies or just the general genre. We have a gamer show where I do talk about gamer news. And we have a conversation show where we interview YouTube creators and, basically try to get to know them on a personal level, but in a lighthearted type of way. And then we just go live every Saturday night, and we have a giveaway every Saturday as well. Oh yeah, managing home life and content creator life is a delicate balance because you definitely don't want to take away from family time because honestly, that is the most important time. This to me is a hobby. I come and do this, when I have a little bit of free time. But the way I do things is when I do my back to the retro review, when I do movies, we bank them. We record 3 episodes at a time, so we have like at least 6 in the bank at any given time, minimum of 3, total of 6 at any given time. And for my tech reviews, when I do those, I get off work 2.5 hours before my wife, and so I'm able to come in here and record, do a little editing, and then when she gets off work, able to spend time out there. And that's how I kind of balance things. I get off work a little earlier than she does, so I'm able to come in here, do my personal thing, and then when she's ready, we go out there and have quality time together. So that's how I balance things, and that's going to be different for everybody. So it's one of those things to where you definitely need to balance home and family life, but home life always comes first.
yeah, it does. It's definitely hard to do because this is so engrossing for me anyway. And
Hmm.
and
It's
I
addictive. It's very
yes,
addictive.
yeah, and I don't have kids at home anymore, so it's just my wife and the dogs, and so sometimes it's even a bigger pull, but it really is important that you pay attention to
Hmm.
what's the most important in your life for sure. And you just become a better person. And I think your content is probably ends up being better if you're able to manage it.
Right.
Um, Talk about what kind of work do you do? I mean, you don't need to get into specifics, but I just kind of like to get the idea of what kind of background you have and how creativity fits into your life.
Oh, not a problem. Well, if you want to talk about a little bit about my background, wow, words are hard today. I done warehouse work for, probably the first, I don't know, 20 years of my early life, and then I kind of got in. I wanted to transition away from that, and I got an entry level job at a medical bill review company. And I've basically been doing medical bill review in that same field ever since then. I've been doing that for probably, oh man, longer than I'll probably want to admit now. So yeah, I've been doing medical bill review. That's my daytime job. That is what I do for my daily job. And like I said, this is just my content creation job. This is just it's not even a job. I don't get paid to do what I do on YouTube. I just like to have fun and meet people because I think the content creation group as a whole has been just so amazing. It's been so inviting. I suggest almost, anybody can get into this, but in the content creation community, everybody I've met has been amazing people. I've made some great friends doing this. People I'll probably never meet in person, but I still consider like brothers and sisters. So, yeah, this is why I love doing this.
Growing up, did you have that creative side where this makes sense to you for you, or is this something that just was born out of the internet in our age?
Oh man, well, I've kind of always had to have a creative imagination because I did grow up in that age of no electronics. I grew up in the age of Nintendo NES, and I barely even had one. I grew up very poor, actually. I grew up very poor, and I've had to work very hard to where I am now. I am by no means rich whatsoever, but I'm definitely not where I was growing up. And I've had to scratch and claw to get here, and I don't never plan on going back. But yeah, growing up, I definitely had to have an imagination, playing stickball in the backyard with buddies, saying, "Hey, I'm King Griffey Jr." and stuff like that. It's all in the mind. You got to be creative when you're a kid, when you have nothing, just to entertain yourself. So yeah, I would have to say, growing up, that I've kind of always had a creative mind. Mhm. Well, I grew up in Florida, Central Florida, which, if you know anything about Florida, it's very diverse. It is not a bubble. That bubble has burst there in Florida. There's people from all over the country and all over the world in Florida, as a matter of fact, because I grew up an hour away from Orlando. So, and of course, Orlando, you got the mouse there, so people come from all over the world to come see the mouse. So yeah, I've had I definitely did not grow up in a bubble. So yeah, that's where I grew up. And grew up there and lived there for 43, 46 years. Sorry. No, no, let me correct myself. 44 years. 44 years there. And I have since moved to Texas. That is where I am now. I've spent the last couple of years here in Texas, and I'm never, ever moving back to Florida. I love it here in Texas. This is where I want to be. This is my forever state now. I still don't know many places in Texas because Texas is huge. Um, I'm about an hour and a half north of Austin. I'm right next to if anybody knows military base Hood, which is now called Fort Caveos, right outside, that general area.
It's an interesting state, and like you say, it's so big that I spent time in East and West Texas just because of the kind of work that I was doing, and talk about, well, even South and North. It's just they're all, it's like a whole different country in a lot of ways when you.
No, it really is. North Texas and South Texas are basically two different states. They're not, but they should be because they are completely different. It's amazing how big the state actually is, and just the different cultures that are in the state as well. It's almost as cultured as Florida as far as the different cultures here, but I honestly think everybody seems nicer here in Texas. The food tastes better. Sorry for all you Floridians, the food is better. I can speak to it as a homegrown Floridian. Texas rocks.
What brought you to Texas, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I just wanted a change. I had lived in the same state all my life. I kind of looked at my wife one day and was like, "Man, I kind of want out of the state." We were looking to move anyway. We were either going to move if we weren't going to move out of the state. We were going to move closer to where I could do more fishing. That is the one thing I really miss about Florida is I could go to either coast. I was an hour away from either coast,
Mm.
and I loved, flats fishing, redfish, snook, trout, all that stuff. I really, really miss that. But the trade off being here in Texas, I'll take that and miss fishing all day long. So yeah, we were just looking to move, looking for a change. Why we moved, it's you're one place all your life. At some point, you get tired of it. I will say, coming out here to Texas, I've never ever seen a state so proud of their like being Texas. I'm not going to lie. Florida, you definitely don't see that. Other states I'm visiting, you don't really see that. But Texas loves being Texas.
Yeah, it sure does, and people don't get that. It's no matter what part of Texas you're from, they fly that flag. You
Oh
know.
yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah. Texas flags everywhere. Like you cannot go into an establishment without seeing like something Texas in there, whether it be if you go to a pizzeria, you're going to see like a Bud Light sign in the shape of Texas. It's kind of cool. I love seeing that stuff, but it's like okay, you love being Texas.
but
The best thing about Portland is Astoria, where the Goonies was filmed. That's the best thing about Oregon.
yeah, well, you, you're right. Mainly because the Oregon coast, there you can't beat it. I've been to other coastlines, even like California, and people talk about California and all that. The Oregon coast is by far the best coastline to me in the world, and I do miss that. So
Right.
I will take credit for my home state on that level. But yeah, you're right. It, Portland doesn't have a lot to offer anymore, that's for sure. And you're right, the food in Texas is really good, especially those steak houses and
Mm-hmm.
the Mexican food is by far like, oh my gosh.
Oh, street trucks, man. The street trucks are freaking amazing here. Some of the best tacos I've ever had.
You talk about this is your hobby.
Hmm.
Is there any future goals or plans that you're trying to do, or you're just building a community and you're going from there?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of like making friends, building a community, networking. I'm not in this for the money. I'm really not. I'm in this because I have really enjoy the tech in it. I enjoy doing the microphones. I've really latched on to that. I enjoy putting the information out there for other people to ingest and decide whether they like the microphone or whatever piece of tech I'm doing at that time. To me, I think it's all about giving information and people reaching out and asking me questions about the information, the tech or whatever I'm talking about. To like to be an informed consumer, and YouTube is where I go for information I want. So why not? If I have the information myself, why not share it? Why not share it with everybody who's willing to ingest the information I'm putting out? And that's what I say. If you're going to get into this, make sure you're doing it with something that you love doing. Like I said, I started doing one thing, and it's evolved because I was loving doing it. And it may evolve again because my interests will change as well, I'm sure. But right now, I'm really loving doing microphones. I have a good collection going right now, and I'm loving just tech in general. I've always loved tech, though. I've always loved like computers and tech and TVs, video games, stuff like that. I've always loved electronics, and this is just my newest iteration of electronics as these microphones and budget podcasting gear. So yeah, if you're going to get into YouTube, make sure it's something that you enjoy doing, talking about. That way, it's not a job. It's something that you enjoy talking about. You won't get burnout. I used to. I'm not gonna lie. I used to because when you first get into it, that's what you're. I mean, that's what a lot of people's goal is. They want all the subscribers, they want all of that, but you got to realize that stuff don't come automatically. It takes time, it takes effort, and but for me, I've realized a long time ago that I'm just gonna be me. Whether I get the views or not, I'm gonna put the best content I can out there, and I've slowly started to see my numbers climb. Now, I will say, um, you're talking about the to try to get more views. Some of that's YouTube's fault, I believe, for changing their like that, which is totally understandable. It made me want to do shorts at one time, and I did do shorts at one point, and I just stopped doing them because I think it hurt my long form content. So I stopped doing them because they were hurting my actual views on the stuff that I really wanted people to watch all the way through. And so I'm still recovering from my numbers, but I wasn't getting huge numbers to begin with, so I'm not really too upset about it. I'm just putting content out for people. It's microphone reviews. There's people doing every day. So, I mean, I'm not expecting huge numbers, but more than 30 would be nice.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it for sure. And like you said, it takes time, and then
Mhm.
you just find your own path, and you just continue to hone in on your own voice, and then it goes from there. I definitely, for me, believe it or not, I got more views 4 or 5 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago than I
Mhm.
do now. It seems like.
Well, the market right now on YouTube is so saturated because everybody's a content creator now, which I mean, the more the merrier, in my personal opinion. Because that just means I get to meet more people. I'm not a very social person away from the camera. I'm more of a recluse. I'm a homebody. I stay at home a lot. I don't really do a whole lot of social interactions outside of being on camera and meeting people online. This is where I socialize. This is my sweet spot. This is why I love doing this because I'll meet and make more of a connection here with somebody than I will in real life, if that makes any sense.
No, it definitely does, and I could directly correlate that for me. Like some of the things that I did when I was a young man was well, I was the only child, so a
Me
lot
too.
of my okay, so a lot of my hobbies were just me, and then I did get into a hobby where I was interacting with people from around the country and trading stuff, and so uh, this makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? Even though it may seem on the outside looking in like it's totally opposite of my personality, but it really isn't. This is how I interact with people, and this is I've always been a hobbyist of some sort, and I really resonate with what you said about electronics. I've always been somebody who's always been at the forefront of wanting to
Mhm.
learn new electronics. I mean, I may not keep up with it due to life circumstances and
Right.
budget, but I'm always paying attention, and so, yeah, I'm
And,
the same way.
and I will say, doing this actually helps me stay somewhat current, to where I'm not falling off on technology. I'm not going to be like, in 5 years having to have my son come program my phone or something. I'll still be able to do that because I'm keeping up with technology a little bit, trying to keep up with some of the latest and greatest, whether it be cameras or whatever. Still technology. I'm still able to keep up.
Yeah, for sure. I always remember like my mom and dad, like me getting frustrated at them for like, oh, why don't you know how to do this,
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I'm never gonna be that way, and I found myself a few times like, I'm getting to that point, but I always pull myself out of it because I am, it's always been a drive for me to learn that stuff and keep keep on top of it. But because I love it, I enjoy it.
right.
But um, so, do you when you're creating content, do you enjoy uh, doing the solo content or the collaborative content better, or do you just like doing a combination of all of it?
I like the combination, simply because when you're working with a team, if they're in different spaces, you got different time zones, so planning can be an issue. You do, but that said, it's a team, so you got different perspectives on things. You got more of a conversation piece when you got more minds able to put in more perspective in with different topics. So having a team is great, but then I like the solo because I don't have to answer to nobody. I'm doing it myself. Um, whether it be good, bad, or ugly, this is my product. This is what I'm putting out, and if I'm putting it out, I enjoy it. So that is why I like both. Big mixture of, hey, I'm getting different perspectives, live perspectives with a team. I'm able to conversate. It's not when you're doing so. A lot of times you're talking directly to a camera, and that can be unnerving. That could take some getting used to. I still get used to it. I watched my current video that I'm about to release tomorrow, and I feel like I rushed through it. Like it didn't feel natural. Even though I don't use teleprompters and I don't use a script, I kind of felt like I was reading something when I really wasn't, because I was rushing through it. It makes me want to redo it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it out regardless. It's going to be what it is. But yeah, it doing solo content and working with a group. It's a different perspective, and it's a welcome perspective because I'm able to do my own thing, and I'm also able to work within the confines of a group. So it's I like both.
Um, have you ever gone into that analytic rabbit hole where you just feel like you can't get out, and it just
I will look at my analytics, but I don't as a tool to post things or see what's doing well. I'm going to post about what I want to post about. It's my channel. I'm going to post when I post. And because I already have a schedule, I already have a set schedule of when I post. I post Mondays at 6 a.m. my time, and I post Thursdays at 6 a.m. my time. Those are my set schedules. If anything else comes out, it's like bonus material that I just may put out there, and I haven't done that in a very, very long time. I have a set schedule. I don't really look at analytics. I may use it to just see, hey, what genre of people are watching and stuff like that. But I don't use it as a tool for when I post, because people are gonna find your stuff when they find it. If you put out if you put out good product, people, it don't matter when you post it. Nothing that I can really think of right off the bat. Like I've always said, the biggest thing for content creation is if you want to get into it, grab you a cheap webcam, grab you a cheap mic, and just press play, and then upgrade from there. You don't need all the biggest equipment. You don't need all the fanciest equipment to start with. You just need to start, because use that small steps, with the cheap equipment to grow your style, grow what you're going to do on camera. Use the every tool that you get, use it as a stepping stone. So that's what I've always done. That's how I've always evolved. I start from the bottom, now you're here type thing. So
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of way for me. When I first started, I had an iPad and an iPhone, and that was just because I already had those, right?
hmm
And what I did was is a lot of dog people aren't very technical individuals, so I didn't I used Facebook Live a few times, and then you realize how crappy that was back in the
yeah.
day. So I ended
Yep.
up going to phone calls, and all I did was I recorded the phone call by putting the phone up to the iPad, and then
Yeah.
what I did is I created the video by getting pictures of their dogs and little video clips of their dogs, and then editing and that into a video for YouTube. So that was my first couple of years of doing this, and so I didn't have a webcam, I didn't have a microphone, and it wasn't until about a year and a half ago that I started stepping up my game on that level. Um, and it's because I wanted to.
hmm
It wasn't because I felt like I had to. And I think you're right. I think that's a great message. Just get budget stuff and just do it, and enjoy the joy of the process, but have a passion first.
Yeah, you need a passion, and you need something to talk about on camera with a whole bunch of ums and ohs and long pauses. You kind of want the content to be flowing. You kind of want to know what you're talking about. But other than that, just press play, man. Just press record, talk into the camera. You got to get used to talking into a camera to begin with, because I know when I first started, I was using my phone to begin with, just my phone audio, phone camera, and even doing that, it took some getting used to, because you're talking to an inanimate object about, a product or anything. So it just takes time to get comfortable. You got to get comfortable in doing that. Slowly upgrade your gear from there. I mean, you don't need like all the fancy stuff. Just start dirt cheap and work your way up. Build that lawn.
Yep, exactly. I'm still doing that. And I've been doing this for 6 years now. So I'm in my infancy still,
Yeah.
as far as equipment and learning how to use it and all that, and watching channels like yours is part of that process for me, and I appreciate what you're doing. I think it's a real service.
Oh, thank you,
Uh,
man. I
yeah,
I try, and when I talk about microphones and stuff, I'm not talking from any technical standpoint in it. I'm not a huge audiophile. I just know what I like. I know what sounds good. I know what sounds bad. And it's just one of those things to where use my experiences, because I'm the one using the microphone at this time. I'm not going to talk about a mic that I don't know about, so, or have not used. So I'm talking about what I've experienced. So uh, you use that with it.
yeah, exactly. So here's some of the tech questions that I have, and you would understand why I asked them when you see if you saw my YouTube homepage. PC or Mac?
PC. PC. I'm a PC guy. I've just never got into the Mac. I'm a PC guy.
I like them both. If my wife would let me and I wouldn't get into massive trouble, I would have both. But what about PC? You just never got into the ecosystem. Was that the thing?
Yeah, I've never got into the ecosystem. It's just one of those things to where I'm sure if I ever dived into it, dove into the ecosystem, I'd probably enjoy it, because I know a lot of people like MacBook and stuff like that. So I'd probably enjoy it more than PC. Um, but I've already got PCs, and it's I'm comfortable with it. So I'm also sticking with comfortability. I'm not going to try to learn something totally new in a whole new ecosystem if I don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do with, dance with the girl that brought you here.
Right.
Um, what kind of PCs do you have, or that you run with?
I use a desktop PC. I have a Dell. This is actually a gaming PC. It's a Dell. I don't even know what model number. It's kind of old right now. But it's just that I picked up on Walmart.com. It was a pre-build, and yeah, that's really all I'm running with right now for my setup.
Yeah, it seems like sometimes you can get into that's another rabbit hole you can get into, and you realize yeah, there's levels to this. What you
Hmm.
need and what you want are two different things
Oh,
sometimes.
huge, hugely. Like, yeah, especially if you're getting into game. I got the gaming PC because I was gonna originally do some gaming content as well, and then I quickly realized I don't like gaming on a computer. I like my console. So, but I've used this for my podcasting, and it works fine, as long as you have enough RAM and internet usage. You can do this with the platforms I use.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation all the way, all the way. I'll never do another Xbox. Xbox was okay. Don't get me wrong. They have some good original titles. I don't like that thick controller that Xbox has. I just don't like it. It feels wrong in my hand. The PlayStation controllers fit me exactly the way I want them to feel. Um, my daughter is the only person who I know in immediate family that has ever had an iPhone. And she begged for that one. That's the only reason why she got it. Um, so yeah, I'm an Android. I think iPhones use Android's technology 5 years later. That's exactly what iPhone does.
And again, for me, if I could get away with it, and I would have both. I'm one of those kinds of people.
Yeah.
I would run with two phones, but uh, I do like the iPhone, and how it just fits into the ecosystem, and how it just runs, and it runs smoothly. But I do understand why people like the Android. What kind of phone do you have, if you don't mind me
I
asking?
have a Galaxy 23. So it's a fairly good phone. Now I will say, if I did have Apple products everywhere and Macs and stuff like that, I would probably have an iPhone as well because of the ecosystem. But I don't have that, so I don't need one.
Yeah, it's one of those things that once you get into that, you're pretty much
You're
beholden
locked
to it.
in. You're locked in because Apple does not talk with any other system. You're stuck.
One of the funny things, well, not funny, but one of the interesting things is I was looking at the new Google Pixel phones, and they do seem to interact okay with Macs. So I was
Okay.
like, maybe I'll get a Google Pixel on the side there, and use it.
Great cameras on those phones.
Yeah. So, um, so you just picked up the Rode Pod mic. So okay, here's a what made you get the Rode Pod? Which is it? The Duo, or is it the Pro?
It's the regular Rode Prop Pod mic. It's the just
No, I mean
XLR.
your mixer. The
Oh, the Duo. Oh, the
is it
Duo.
the
I'm
yeah
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I got the Duo. Honestly, I was having a bit of an issue with the Vocaster because this is what all it really needed was a firmware update. Um and I didn't realize that. And I was in Best Buy, and I was talking to my wife about it. I'm like, man, I need to get me another Vocaster. Said I think I need to get one. And then we were walking around. I said, man, it'd be nice to have that Duo right there. She goes, just get it. I'm like, it's no. I'm like, he goes, I'll put it on the credit card, pay it off in 5 months. So you'll be fine. Like, I picked it up. I'm like, no, put it back down. And she says, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. She goes, it'll be your Christmas present. I'm like, well, so that's what made me get it.
Yeah, it's a good wife. My wife is the same way for me. I, I
And
appreciate stories like that.
I will say it is more involved. It is a more involved audio interface. I'm still learning it. There's a lot more, but I love the full control that I actually have now. Like there's so much I can do just within this that I don't need to put any filters in OBS or anything like that. I can do them straight from the mixer. It's an amazing device. Highly suggestible if anybody can afford one. But yeah, it's cool. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the Vocaster 2. I love the simplicity of this. I love being able to go in and do some processing, some in this with the hub. You can go in and do that. And to me, the simplicity of this is amazing. Like it's taken me some fine tuning on the Duo to get any type of decent sound, and now my computer is playing with the Duo, and it's messing up my audio. So I got to figure it's more research that I'm going to have to do. So the simplicity of the Vocaster is where I would stay. Just doing a budget podcasting show or something like that. But I mean, again, if you're able to, the Duo is awesome. It's pretty. There's so many colorful, pretty lights, and I'm not gonna lie. A lot of times, that's what gets me. That's why I picked up the SE3 as well, was because it had pretty lights and stuff like that. Which it's a great device for what it is. It's a great starter. Then I would upgrade to the Vocaster and stay with a good Vocaster for a long. And then eventually, when you get a little hair up your butt, then you can go ahead and do the Rodecaster Duo.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. This is on top of my mind, so I'm going to ask it.
Mhm.
Office chair or gaming chair?
Gaming chair, gaming chair, easy. I love having the. Yeah, it's just more comfortable to me. Chair, and this is a Downix gaming chair. Uh, it's I use a gaming chair in my office as well. These chairs are so well made. They're made to be sat in for long periods of time. So I just enjoy this feel. An office chair, I feel a lot of times has me up too far. Even when I set it back, it's just there's something wrong about. I don't feel right in an office chair. I like a good gaming chair, fit me better. So, and again, that's all personal preference. It depends on the person. But yeah, gaming chair for me. Yes, this was an Amazon purchase. This was definitely an Amazon purchase. This was me and my wife upgraded our chairs at the same time. Actually, this was actually her chair. Mine is still in the office. It still feels great. This one still feels great. She likes this chair, but she sits, cross-legged in a chair, and she can't really do that with this one. So she bought one of those chairs to where she can actually sit there and sit Indian style or crisscross applesauce, however you want to say it now, in a chair, and that's how she sits. That's how she likes to do it. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm not that bendy anymore. But yeah, she can do that all day, and I just stole her chair to put in my podcast room.
That's awesome. Um, do you ever is your wife ever think about coming on, and do you ever think about creating content with your wife?
She has been in out of the oh my god, I think I started this channel, my channel, I'll say 8 years ago. Maybe 8 years ago, somewhere around there. She's maybe been in two videos that I've done. I've ever posted. She helped me do the unboxing, and maybe other than that, she has absolutely no interest in doing this whatsoever. None.
In-game microphone right now. I know it might change in 6 months or a year, but right now, if I said, "Here's $5,000, get the microphone you want,"
Probably the Earthworks. I'm not gonna say Ethos. It's another Earthworks one. I can't remember. The name is slipping my mind right now because you put me on the spot. Earthworks something. I just can't think of the name of it. It looks a lot like the Tank 3, um, but it's an Earthworks and it sounds amazing. I know Mike Newman from likes the Earthworks ethos, but I like the to me a microphone not only has to look good, it needs to sound good as well. So I would go with the other Earthworks one because I think it looks better and I think the sound is very comparable. Earthworks icon. The Earthworks icon. The Earthworks icon. That's the microphone.
I'll have to look that up. I don't know. I don't know that one.
Definitely do. It's a slick looking microphone.
Okay. The next question is uh, camera.
Hmm.
Here's $10,000. Get yourself a camera.
Okay, so I don't know the names of the cameras that I really want because I know I can't afford a DSLR, so I don't really even look at them anymore. So maybe name I can think of would maybe I was bought Tiny or something like that. And even that's like less than $200. Right now, I'm working with the EMI S800. I think it looks great for what it is. And so yeah, it's probably, but I would go DSLR mirrorless camera if I had no worries about money. And if you gave me $5,000, that would probably cover everything barely when you're talking camera, lens, um, capture card, all that stuff, a new rig behind the monitor because you're going to need all that with a DSLR camera. So yeah, right now I'm just working with a good old webcam.
Yeah, and again, for me, when I look at those people that do that, it seems like you would have to have a love for the gear and what it offers.
Hmm.
And if you don't know how to use it, it's just pointless.
Yeah,
You might as well just use your phone. Like your S23 is like it would probably beat some of those mirrorless cameras.
some of them. Now I will say the benefit to having a mirrorless camera is you're going to get more of an even tone throughout your whole image. You're going to get a bokeh effect to where your background's going to be blurred because of the depth of field. And but yeah, it's you can get very similar results with a good webcam these days. So I don't really think that the DSLRs are worth it anymore because I really believe webcams are going to catch up with them very soon.
I agree. They just keep getting better and better as I see
Hmm.
them. Yeah. Um, all right, computer. If you what computer with the specs? What you're in game there for right now?
Man, if anything, I'd probably just give me a regular editing type computer. I don't really have any aspirations to change anything right now, so I haven't been looking for anything new. Because looking for something new, I'm gonna buy something new. That's just how I am. If I start looking at it, I'm gonna end up buying something. I'm gonna do comparisons. I'm gonna do. I shop around when it comes to, stuff like that, computers and stuff like that. So I definitely, when it comes to any type of tech, to make sure what I'm getting is what I want. So I just don't look a lot of times unless I'm in the need for one, because then I'm just spending money that I don't need to spend. And a lot of times I'll be like, okay, what's comparable? But I'll type in like budget, blah blah blah, and see what is a comparison. Try to find comparisons. And I just don't need to do that with a computer right now because what I'm working with is more than capable of what I need it to do. So I just haven't been looking. So I don't need a new computer right now. So yeah, if I and when it comes time to look for what I'm looking for now will be different than what I'm looking for in the future because technology changes and stuff like that, especially with computers. So I just don't look until I need one when it comes to actual computer. Yeah, man, I could talk budget equipment all day. So yeah, I'd love to come back on anytime.